From the ABC Radio Network studios in New York City, it's live from 125.
Hey there! It's 6 after 1 o'clock. Why is this man laughing? It's just the euphoria of relief. Remember the old ABC Wild World of Sports opening? The thrill of victory, the agony of your feet. Remember that? Well, this is pretty much the same thing. We had a little technical problem about an hour before showtime in being able to stretch the wire between the telephone can here in the Logic-Free Zone and the telephone can at the Palatial Studio 125 Studios on West End Avenue in New York City. And, of course, we had to call in the phone company to look into the problem. And about 5 minutes before DEFCON 5 or 6 or whatever that level is, 7, all the lights lit up and everything was fine. Apparently there was a piece of defective equipment somewhere in the central station, wherever that may be. But I got to tell you, if there's anybody from the ubiquitous phone company, Verizon, whatever, AT&T, not to mention that stinking judge that broke up the so-called monopoly way back when, you guys really need to get your act together. I mean, I got to tell you, whether you're residential or business, whether you're broadcast or cell phones or whatever, of course, excrement will happen, and the ship will hit the sand. But the problem isn't so much that, because I think we could all admit that pretty much once you get the phones installed and stuff, they work a hell of a lot better than some of our European critics or in any other country. But the problem is when there's a problem, getting to the right person to fix the problem. That is, I mean, it's like calling customer service or technical support or something. It's absolutely asinine. I mean, here's an example of where technology has really screwed the pooch. Back in the day, you call somebody and one of two things happened. You got an answer or a busy signal. I mean, that was pretty much it. You didn't get voicemail. You didn't have to wade through some damn menu. You didn't have to make 14 different selections in order to make 12 more selections, in order to make 6 more selections, in order to make 3 more selections, in order to get to a recording that says, all our technicians are busy helping other people right now. Your call is important to us. Please stay on the line, and someone will be with you when we damn well get around to it. This kind of routine. I mean, this is not technology. This is great for business because they don't have to actually have somebody there physically to answer the phone when it rings. They can just sit and let technology handle it. But from the standpoint of customer service, a term that has been battered about stupendously over the past several years as this technology has advanced, has gone to hell in a handbasket. The customer is not only is the customer no longer right, the customer is consistently screwed. It's unbelievable. This little situation here, it took 26 minutes by the atomic clock that we have here in the studio just to get to a person who understood what the problem was and could affect the solution. And the thing about the other 12 people that I personally spoke to, you go through the same routine. What is that? What is your connect? What's the circuit? Oh, you'll have to talk to somebody in the kerfuffle department. Hold on. And then you get through the same routine. This call may be recorded for training purposes. While we're talking to you, we may have to access your records. You may be offered a long-distance. This just goes on and on and on. And then when that person tells you they can't help you, you go through the same situation all over again. It's just this is no way to run a phone company or a government or a business or a computer service technician department or whatever. It's insanity. And, of course, it eats up valuable time when you could be doing something a lot more productive as you go through this exercise. It's unbelievable. And I haven't written the article yet, but I've got one outlined. that in reality, when it comes to, we talk about productivity, and the computers, personal computers, cell phones, text messaging, laser printers have contributed so much to increase productivity around the world, but of course most specifically here in the most productive country in the world, the United States, and so on. And I would make an argument with you that if you think those production numbers are good, imagine what could happen if we got rid of some of this stuff. That in fact, our communications between one another have been severely hampered. I mean, we're back around the Stone Age right now with communications. It's just that we do it with more glitz and glitter. I'll give you an example. How many different ways does the average person have to contact another average person? I would suggest to you that if you live, unless you live on a farm or in an extremely small town and you're on retirement or something on that order, if you're today's businessman, and when I say businessman, it doesn't matter whether you're a manager, whether you're a talk show host or an over-the-road driver or a chemist or whatever. If you're in business today, you want to stay in touch. You got a telephone at home, at least one line. You've got you might have a separate line for business calls or something along that order. You probably have a computer with email. You might have, if your computer isn't fax capable, you have a separate fax machine. Almost everyone today has a cell phone. Some people, the same people who wear suspenders and belt, also have a pager. I don't think I'm leaving anything out. So that means if somebody calls you, they call you on your home phone, they'll call you at the office or your business phone, they'll send you a fax, they'll send you an email, they'll call you on your cell phone, they can try you on your pager. So what is that? Home phone, office phone, computer, fax, pager, cell phone. Am I leaving anything out? No. That's 6 different ways that you could be contacted. But in fact, thanks to caller ID, you now have, and you can actually count that as, I don't know what you'd count that as, but basically, you've got 6 different ways you can ignore your fellow man. The worst that would happen if you go back in the day, let's review. Let's take the history of that. I call you at the office, you answer the phone. That's one way. I call you at the office, and I get the receptionist, who then transfers me to your office, and I get you on the phone. Or I get the receptionist who transfers me to your office, your secretary picks up, and I get you on the phone. Or, and this was the first insidious little problem, the secretary would whip out her Rolodex of excuses. I'm sorry, Mr. Chandran is not in the office today. Mr. Chandran is away from his desk. Mr. Chandran's on the other line. Mr. Chandran's in a meeting. Mr. Chandran has stepped out for a moment. Mr. Chandran's out sick today. Mr. Chandran's on vacation. I mean, it would just go through that. And if you called back 8 times, you'd get, you may get all 8 excuses. Just depends on how big a liar you are and what you've told your secretary to say. Then at the other end, of course, the worst thing that would happen was either your secretary would tell you while you were out, Brian Wilson called, or you'd get one of those little pink slips, the one that said, while you were out, so-and-so called from this number and whatever. So as technology marched forward, and we've got cell phones and voicemail and caller ID and all the rest of that business, this is not expedited communication. This is set communication back. Now you don't even have to have a receptionist answer the phone anymore. All you have to have is a voice menu. Hello, you've reached Brian Wilson, Talk Show Host Services, America. No one's available to answer your phone right now. If you know your party's extension, enter it at any time. For Brian, press 1. For Brian, press 2. For Brian, press 3. For Brian, press 4. Or wait till the sound of the beep and leave a message. So that's it. So look at all the people who've become unemployed. Receptionists, secretaries. You don't need anybody anymore. You can run a multi-million-dollar corporation and all you need is a sophisticated answering service. Fascinating. But it does not improve communication. I'm sorry, it does not. It sets things back. It's kind of like when you call for technical assistance on your computer. All our representatives are busy right now. What are you talking about? It's 2 o'clock in the morning. How can all your representatives be busy right now? How can all your technical support people be tied up at 2 o'clock in the morning? And I got this picture of two guys sitting in a big room. Most of the terminals, are just sitting there idle. No one else is there, just these two guys, and they're playing poker or something, watching these lines blink, wait until they're damn good and ready to pick it up and answer. I'm positive that's what's going on. 2 o'clock in the morning. It's not like that Dell commercial where the guy calls up, "You still there? Are you really there?" That kind of thing. Hogwash. So that's my little rant for this morning, for this afternoon, for this evening, depending upon what time zone you're in, is that indeed technology has not improved our communications. It just has provided a multiplicity of ways that you, by which you can either ignore your fellow man or your fellow man can ignore you. We don't do that here. I am pleased to announce that when you call our phone number, 800-318-TALK, that's here, of course, in our palatial studios, 800-318-8255, by God, we answer the phone, and we answer it promptly. And unless we're talking to somebody else or we're in a commercial stop set, as they call it, we get right to it. Right to it. All right? All right, I'll shut up now. I see that John's calling from Chattanooga, and we'll talk to him in a minute, because you see we got to play these commercials now. I've been running off at the mouth, and we've eaten up all of our available time for this segment. Now we have to pay the piper. So hang on a second, John. We will answer this phone. I swear to God, we will answer the phone just as soon as we get back. And your calls, too, by the way, 800-318-TALK, 800-318-8255. Brian, I never bothered to introduce myself. Brian Wilson's my name. That has been my name here for the past 3.5 weeks. This is our fourth consecutive record-shattering week as part of our world tour. And we'll be back talking to John and anybody else who wants to chime in here in un momento. Robbie's driving the bus. Good to have you along here live from 125.
Live from 125.